Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another installment of Late Night Color Commentary on the Fins Tailgate. First, I'd like to thank every one of you for being here tonight. And I'd like to thank our awesome broadcast host, Chris El Capitan Adams at the Fins Tailgate, for hosting this show and bringing my voice to everybody tonight. And I highly encourage everybody to like and share this video. Gets the word out, gets more people in the chat to talk to. You guys won't be so bored hearing my voice. And for more color commentary, kindly head over to my YouTube channel, subscribe. It helps me provide more content going forward. And also on Tuesday nights, you got Tonk 7 with TMI. And also yours truly lately at 9 p.m. You can find Mike on the mic for open mic on Tuesdays and drop the mic on Saturdays. He should be getting back to regular scheduling. And also, right now we've got cash and tickets on hold, but you can catch me at 10 o'clock now, color commentary on the Fins Tailgate on Thursday nights. And I'd encourage every one of you, if you're kind enough to want to help out the channel monetarily, you can go use the Cash App, $ Fins Tailgate, the Fins Tailgate, and also Venmo, the Fins Tailgate at Venmo, as well as other ways. I'm sure you can find other ways if you're so inclined, and we do appreciate that love and support. So I guess I want to say hi to some people. We got Lucky You always coming in. Nice staple for our comment section. Got John Fernandez, Cat for Life. Love you, Cat. Always coming around, supporting the whole community. You got Andres Negron, and you got Big Drip. Everybody, thanks for being here. So, I guess our coaches, a bunch of our coaches came out and spoke today on, on their love for the team and love and excitement for working with our quarterback and upcoming offense. I think it's just, one of them, Darren Bevel, he kind of admitted that he hasn't really seen much, but is excited to start looking at it. I just find that kind of interesting. Well, it's not so much interesting as to be expected, being that, all these guys have had jobs for the last couple of years. It's not like they've, been inclined to follow the career path of one Tua Tagovailoa. So, I would expect they needed some looking to do. Some of them are coming, being a little, cautiously optimistic, as we like to use the words around these parts lately. It's all we have to be. But I wanted to come out tonight and kind of take a little bit of a surprise, maybe a surprising position to those who like to come around and listen to the things I have to say and the takes I have to say. I've made it very clear of my lack of belief in our quarterback, and I still don't necessarily believe, but I do see, I just don't believe that the words hope and the word faith are synonyms. They're two different things. I can hope till I'm blue in the face, but that doesn't mean I have any faith that that what I have hope in is going to come true. Maybe hope might be encouraged by faith or vice versa, but I do have hope. And so, the things that I've been critical of, besides, Reeds and all that, we all know he got injured and whatever else. And, that can be a point of contention as well. Can he be healthy enough to play in the league? Which is a question in and of itself. I mean, yeah, there's already been several injuries. But I want to put that aside for a second, because some of them are kind of one of these things that just happen, it is nothing that, but that being said, there are also things that kind of put you in a bind as a quarterback. Let's be honest. So, the other day I wanted to talk about all this because the hype video for Tua's training came out the other day, and everybody flocked to different positions of the sides of the fence as far as what they saw it to mean and didn't see it to mean. I think we can all agree that there is a certain amount of marketing going on there. I would see it that way. However, I wanted to just let everybody know that it actually served its purpose as a hype video, because some of the things I saw, how you doing, Q? Some of the things I saw actually did encourage me. And if that's the purpose of a hype video, then at least the content of that hype video was of a nature that, when I think of the things that a quarterback in the NFL needs to have, when we all talk about the things Tua needs to improve or whether he can or he can't, the things that he would need to have to make those improvements are kind of showing themselves in these hype videos. And I just want, so Chris, what's up, Thomas Jensen? How you doing? So Chris, if you'd pull up the one from the other day real quick, just to get us a brief look at it, and keep it queued up, because I want to pause it in a couple spots, if you don't mind. We got the awesome El Capitan in the back as our producer tonight. He's running the controls. He may or may not be on a phone call, but we'll see if we can get that pulled up. So everybody saw this video, but I want to kind of actually take a deeper look at it and explain why. By the way, in my tweet the other day, I was going to talk about this the other night and kind of go into a deep dive, but I didn't really have a chance. Some other issues came up, but since it's my show tonight, I wanted to go ahead and do this exercise, because what I tweeted was that I wanted to break it. I had something to say about it, and that Tuanon would probably be a little surprised as to what I have to say about it. But aside from the people that just believe that believe the worst in people, we'll put them aside. So go ahead and start playing this. I believe this starts with a medicine ball throw. Okay, reverse that real quick, Chris, and let's see it a couple times. Like, kind of pause it right as he's releasing the ball, right as he steps into it. Okay, so you notice what we see there. His plant foot is stepped almost straight forward, like it needs to be, because that's going to determine the direction that you throw a ball. The direction it's going to orient your football. Now, you can always control the direction with sheer power and arm strength and whatnot, but generally speaking, that foot and its direction is going to mostly indicate the general direction that your ball is going to want to orient itself. So that's nice to see right there. He's got a good, if I were to imagine that this is a football and not a medicine ball, I would say that's exactly what a quarterback's lower half needs to look like when it's throwing a football with conviction and power. So that's quite encouraging in and of itself, given the weight of that medicine ball. And yeah, it did. I mean, whatever. We can joke about it all we want. And yes, this is hype video, AB. I'm just pointing out that it's serving its purpose as a hype video. So either case, so let it roll a little bit more, Chris. We're going to see the part where he does the footwork, which is brilliant in of itself. I could never do anything like that. But what I want to keep reversing that and playing it again, Chris. And like a couple times, and then pause it when he gets done, right as he gets done with the footwork. So keep watching. Now pay attention to what's going on with his hips and his lower half as he goes through that exercise. So this tells me whatever happened with the hip is definitely not affecting him or his hip rotation anymore, or at least it's getting better. Okay, now what I also want to show, and why this matters, is because stop right. Okay, so stop right here a second, right here. So he's running forward. Now this isn't against his throw, and it's not, and it's not necessarily to one side or the other, but it's still in a situation where he's running forward. Okay, and as he's running forward, he's going to throw the ball. Now, there's two ways to gain power on this throw. As he's throwing it, generally what your body wants to do is it wants to reset, just like as if he was scrambling to the right or the left, especially against his throwing direction. And so right here, You notice how he doesn't have to reset. Now, the reason that people in general that have even attempted that, quarterbacks and novice amateur quarterbacks, backyard quarterbacks, we'll call them, the reason most of them can't make this throw is because when you try to do this, especially if you're running against your natural throwing direction, okay, it tends to really, really pinch your ribs and your muscles in your ribs. It's quite painful if you don't have the flexibility to do that. And back in the day, there were very few quarterbacks that could actually do that. However, it's become more of the norm these days because as excellence grows throughout the years and evolves, that becomes a standard thing they look at the combine these days. However, what I've noticed is, and pause it right here for a second, Chris. In games like, let's say we could say that the Tennessee game, but we could also say other places where I've noticed that there's a couple throws where Tua is running against his throwing direction and he actually stops, turns around, resets, and throws. And what happens there is when he does that is as you reset and you reset that way, it causes the ball to take a perfectly straight trajectory, which ends up being behind the receiver, as we've seen quite often. It happens in the pocket too. You could call it pocket presence, but what happens is he also resets his base. And by then, the ball ends up being a little late, and we see that quite a bit. But on this throw here, what I'm noticing is, watch what happens. Now, let it play out, Chris. First of all, look at the distance to where the receiver is. Look at the hips, and look at the fact that he didn't reset. One of the ways you can ease the pain on your ribs when that throw is exactly what he did with his plant foot. He kicks it out. Watch what happens. See how he kicks out his back foot? That's something he's known his whole life. I'm sure of it. And what I'm trying to contend is that the hip, although it is getting better in the rotations there, and that has to be worked on with core strength, and that's the most important part. That rib injury probably did affect things a little more than people necessarily think. Because even as a person, who throws in the backyard, that hurts your ribs, whether you're doing it with injured ribs or not. So I think that part right there and the power that comes out of the ball. If you notice that I was joking about it yesterday, but if you notice that Chris Strevler video where he's teaching about how to throw the football, and by the end of the video, when he applies all of what he taught, you see so much more power. It almost becomes effortless. Watch the ball off of Tua's arm and watch how far it travels without very little power, arm strength. That's the essence of throwing, of ball velocity in throwing a football. Yes, sometimes in the NFL you have to have raw arm power. I get all that, but that is at least encouraging to watch. And as a hype video, it served its purpose with me. Now, the only step after this is, does this translate to the actual football field? So I mean, I kind of said it flippant. I talked about it flippantly last night, and I got a reaction that was kind of tongue in cheek, I guess. But this is also to just point out that, aside from the reading and all that, there are times that I'm watching the game where it's like, yeah, that's here. And it's not even just mental. It's if that rib injury is not completely healed and you're throwing it, I mean, even when you're throwing with your natural direction on the run, you still have a certain amount of flexibility required in your ribs because you don't want to reset. The resetting is what causes the ball to go on a straight line and end up behind his receivers. So I would say that, given that, I mean, I don't think there's as much bad as people think, but for whatever reason, and I can still fault Tua for it, he wasn't necessarily applying this stuff. If it wasn't there, that's fine. We can say, great, because this video is quite encouraging to say that those things would be back. I just want to see those things translate to the field during a game. And once we start seeing that, that's all, that's the play that does allow a quarterback to take over a game, even a mediocre one, if I were to still be a negative Nancy and call him mediocre. That's the kinds of things that even a Trent Dilfer needs to be able to do. You know what I mean? Despite not being elite or even above average, to take a team that we're trying to build in the style we're trying to build to a Super Bowl, given that we still all agree that's what we want, that one and done playoff games aren't sufficient. And even if they were one and done, getting blown out the last time we were in the playoffs, it's not like we lost by 3 people. I mean, what are we talking about here? So either case, one more video, Chris, go ahead and pull up. I don't know if you wanted to do that now, pull up this other video, but this video Chris found that he showed me backstage tonight. This is actually what, to me, when you talk about not wanting to catch a football from a guy because it's coming in weights, look at my finger. See all that? That's from getting old, but from having catching footballs my whole life, right? See my pinky? Okay. I don't relish the idea of catching a football from a guy like this as far as velocity. That stuff is like hurts. You know what I mean? So check this out. Roll the video, Chris.
Come on. Snap. Good. Violent, bro. More violent. Go. Go. Good. Hit. Bring the hip. Yeah. Good. Bring the hip. Snap the hip. Upper torso follows. I love it. Come on. Good, man. Oh, don't die on me. Don't die on me. Big snap. There it is. You hear that clank? I need that clank. I need that clank.
By the way, that video, I understand, is courtesy of to his training crew Perform.
Good. Violent, bro.
Is that correct?
Violent. Go.
Chris?
Go. Good. Hit. Bring the hip.
If you could pop in a second.
Bring the hip.
I don't want to give credit to the wrong place.
It is from Perform.
Okay.
Good, man. Oh, don't die on me. Don't die on me. Big snap. There it is. You hear that clank? I need that clank. I need that clank.
I mean, that's not a guy that me with my little frame wants to catch a football from. I could do it, but man, that coupled with the hype video from the other day that we just watched, I mean, all I know is whether this is there or not, and we can, because I'm still on board with TD and his analysis of percentages and second reads and third and all this other stuff. So I get it that it still has to translate from the field, but that person that I just saw in that video should have absolutely no reason he can't chuck the ball 60 yards down the field with some lead. I mean, I don't understand. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it wasn't there because, the process of training was still going on, then the rib injury. I do understand that training exercise right there could never be done with somebody that is still hurting in the ribs. So again, encouraging. And I want to give credit where it's due, because at the very least, the guy's got to have some kind of value in the league. I don't want to be, so off on the guy that I say he doesn't belong in the league. The guy that I just watched in that training video, without knowing anything about him, if that was the first time I'd ever seen this guy and somebody told me he was a quarterback, I would say, how do we get him? Yeah, you too, Kenshawn. Appreciate that. You too, Von Joe. Thanks for the shout out. And everybody, if you'd like, please hit the like, share the video. I don't want, I don't want to like make it more than it is, because I still believe, what I believe, like, which is lack of belief. Do I believe that? I mean, I don't know. I just don't think, I mean, what can you say? You know, is it going to translate to the field? I don't believe that still. There's nothing saying I couldn't, but at this point, I can understand why people, you know, why people feel the way they do, but I just don't understand why, you know, like this seems like do we have any dates on this video? Like it seems like something that should have already been taken care of by now. You know, or like, you know, it's, you know, maybe the ribs. But this is why we need to throw them right into a pro style offense as soon as right out of the gate, because you know it's unfortunate, but the time, if he wants to, you know, if it's a case where he wants to you know, speed up his, hey, I've been sitting here doing nothing, and now the fire's lit under my ass, and I've got to, you know, speed up my timetable. Well, he did that to himself, because now we're at a point where he needs to pick up a certain style of offense pretty quickly, because there's those in the room that aren't gonna say next year, oh well, he still had to learn a pro style offense. Let him have a fourth year. So more and more it leads, you know, when I see stuff like this, it leads more and more to me to think, to start agreeing with Drubatron that this was never about Tua, that it was always about getting somebody out of the room. And as far as Tua goes, this video makes it nice to know that if we can't get plan A, which we all know what plan A is, at least, you know, that's something that could turn into something respectable to watch on the field. You know, and speaking of respectability, we all get our gear there. Let's just face it. Just use the link in the description below this time, next time you need something, because at fanatics.com, they got all the sports apparel, hats, collectibles, NFL stuff, NCAA, MLB, NBA, NHL, NASCAR, soccer, and we all know they got Tua jerseys. So use the description use the link in the description below, because you're gonna get something there anyway. If you ain't got nobody else's link to use that one. It's not going to hurt anything. So that being said, I was hoping that I haven't seen him in yet, but it looks like CT might be busy somewhere. Is CT somewhere, man? Did we end up? Because I want to get some. I wanted to bring CT on, but I don't see him in the chat anywhere. How you doing, Ollie? Appreciate it. You're not, yeah. What did I agree with you about? Oh, yeah, the conspiracy that Tua has been holding back. Yeah. You just didn't articulate that part of it yet. What's up, Crypto? How you doing? Todd? Love you guys. What, did they just let the cafeteria out? I see a bunch of guys coming in now. So Von Joe says, Culler, after watching TD and Doug today, I was depressed. I knew Tua was behind his counterparts, but I never knew the gap was so wide. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man, because he's got a lot of making up to do. And, you know, yeah, I might be encouraged by the mechanics coming back, but he's got a lot of makeup to do. Yeah, it's recess, huh? So I did really, I mean, you know how it is this time of year. We all, it's tough to find much to talk about. I mean, other than with you guys. So yeah, Cap's gonna try to get CT on. let him know. I just wanted to get his take before I brought everybody on. I know he can't. It's hard for him to comment on specific people, but he could at least agree or disagree on some things. So, yeah, I don't want anybody to clip me and think I'm a Tua honk. I still don't believe he's going to translate any of that to the field. Nice, Drew Baton. How you doing? I mean, how's it sounding? You're going to make me mute my phone too. So, how about Ricky Williams? Did you guys get a chance to see Ricky Williams talking about his time at the NFL? I thought it was great. He was on Pivot podcast talking about how he doesn't like to follow stupid rules, basically. That it's our duty not to follow stupid rules. I thought that was great. Living the life. Gray hair and still looks like he could run the ball. Yeah, Ali, it's looking more like Drew Batron had some insight there because Boyer's now claiming that he was calling the defense the whole time. Now we all can see that as somebody just egregiously taking credit, but along with that credit, you also have to take credit or take blame for the failures too, then. They both came from the same system. I'm pretty sure Flores was correcting him on the fly. And what are we talking about here? Two guys saying, no, I think this will work. No, I think this will work. But see, at that point, we're not talking about a conspiracy to get to lose ball games. We're talking about a conspiracy to lose just enough ball games to, make somebody look bad. In other words, the first year it was to get a quarterback, but the second year it was to get somebody out of the building. So, I mean, there is something to be said for that. Look, if Tua comes out on game one and like all of a sudden my eye test is completely reversed and I'm like, whoa, kind of lends some credence to that. So Willie Duper Molina, the best name in the business, says it seems like TD cares more about Hope being right and hopes Tua F's up instead. I'm hoping Tua plays well so our team can be successful. I don't know. I think TD sees it the same way I do. We may be surprised if he proves us wrong. We may be questioning our own eye test and all this and that and the other, but I don't see any of us being upset. Anybody that would be is just being a hateful person. And that's why I don't like to be referred to as a hater. There's nothing wrong with it. It's like nobody's calling, the other quarterbacks throughout our history that we've just tossed away without a second look. Nobody's crying for them. Nobody's saying we're all haters because we toss those guys away. And I'm gonna leave them nameless because every time I bring up a name, it gets looked like I'm trying to compare. So I'll leave them all nameless. What's the count up to? 26 or 27 different quarterbacks since since Dan Marino? Who was their hater? You think Von Joe? He might be. So Crypto says it was Dudley that brought those stats on to and not TD. Yes, correct. Crypto. That was quite interesting. Drew Batron says to Von Joe, I talked with TD about that this evening. I think he's dealing more with mental issues. Stats point to that, although can't say for sure. Well, yeah, Drew Batron, those throws that we saw in that training video with a hurt rib, that stuff hurts. And it takes a little while to do it a couple times before you realize it's not hurting anymore. Willie says, skepticism, I get it, but B-Flow was an incompetent dickhead trying to be Belichick, his daddy. You know, we'd have to disagree on that, Willie. I mean, I don't necessarily think he wasn't a dickhead. I just don't necessarily think dickheads don't win Super Bowls. I just think none of them have been given a long enough chance to prove it out. Other than, save for Bill O'Brien, which he got some playoff results, but he's still a trash coach in and of himself. I think he's more of a milk or a leech off the Belichick tree than he is a disciple. But yeah, we got somebody waiting to come in back. It's not CT, but it's somebody that can also, definitely somebody I would like to bring on because of the same, on the same topic and pick his brain real quick. So we got well, maybe we don't. We got to drop a link for him. Is he in chat, Chris? I didn't see him. Oh, he's there. Yeah. Hey, why don't you use that link, Big John? I'm gonna bring everybody on here in a second, but I want to get Big John on first. If you at this point, CT doesn't seem to be around. So Kenshawn says Rosen was Steve and Ross. Flores was Fitz over Ross and put him back in Ross started too. My whole thing, Kenshawn, is if we are going to put a name to it with Josh Rosen, my whole thing is we all agree that was a tanked football team on one hand. That's what we're, that's a given for other conversations. But in this conversation for Josh Rosen, there's no deference given to him for, being on arguably a worse football team. And that's my only thing about Josh Rosen. I'm not saying he's better than Tua. I'm not saying he'd be good enough. Like, he could be better than Tua. He could be worse than Tua. But to me, he's in the same boat. He's not going to get us there. And I can agree on that. But it's from the same eye test that tells me the things it tells me about Tua. And I just don't understand if the eye test is the same by the guys in the building who washed out Josh Rosen, what is it about Tua that I guess maybe Josh Rosen was a dickhead too? Maybe that was it. I don't know. These are all adults and human beings here we're talking about. So, we got to factor in those issues. How you doing, Drew Batron? Still on mute? Might need to tap no, I don't hear you.
Hey, Dribitron, did you hit the link to buy that? Because you should have, bro. I got the link for that microphone in the description. I hope you bought that by hitting the link. If you didn't, dude, you really messed up,
What's
bro.
up, Tonk? How you doing? Tonk7's in the chat.
Chat's open, guys. So if you want to hop in, I saw Big John on there.
Yeah, I saw Big John there for a second, but
All right, I got it.
Did you get that microphone from the description, bro? Did you hit the description for the HyperX microphone?
Is it the same microphone?
It's the same microphone, bro.
No
It's
way.
the
I
same
had no
one.
clue.
Well, this is the one right beneath that one. That one is the one in the description. That's the one I'm having sent out. That's the one Mike's going to be showing up with tomorrow. That's the one.
Drew, that's not the
No.
one. That's not the one you sent me the link of in
I might have
DM?
sent you the wrong link because I was looking at there was two different ones. I might have sent you the wrong link.
Oh, okay.
That's the same thing. It's just now you can change the colors and pick the colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So-
a dope microphone, right?
It's very
very good.
So everybody, if you like the mic that Drew and
so
Chris
rad,
is using
bro.
right there, if you like
Best
that
mute in
mic,
the biz.
there's a link in the description to go ahead and get that thing that'll help out Finn's tailgate as well.
Yeah, I had no clue that the link was there. I 100% would have used the link. And I feel like a dick.
It's okay. Now you just have to buy something on fanatics.com.
All right.
Yeah, because they're the ultimate sports apparel and fan gear store, and they got jerseys, t-shirts, hats, collectibles, all the stuff you buy all the time.
Yeah.
For the NFL, NCAA, MLB, NBA, NHL, NASCAR, soccer, golf, and more, and Tua jersey. So if you're getting a Tua jersey, which I know half of you are, I know AB has to have like 5
There
Tua
might be a
jerseys.
Tua jersey giveaway when we hit 1,000 subscribers. So
If you really want to stick in my craw, you'll use that link in the description to buy a Tua jersey.
Oh man, I'm gonna do it now.
Crystal, move, you bitch.
So we got wicked Fuba's in the house tonight. What is in the house tonight? How's it going, wicked Fuba?
Hey guys, sorry, I'm having a major fight right now with my dog.
Uh-oh.
Oh my God.
You good?
Yeah, I'm better now. She's half husky and I don't know.
Okay, that
Half
explains it.
chupacabra, and the temperature got to like 80 degrees about 2.5 weeks ago, and she looks like she put on like 50 pounds, and it's all fur, and now all that fur's coming out. Like it's literally, there's like dog fur everywhere, and she just decided to jump on my couch. So if you heard a bad word, I apologize, everyone.
No, it's okay. We're at 10:55. I think it's prime time hour.
Yeah, we're good. There's no swear jar here.
No swear jar. Yeah, well, I make it a rule not to cuss at women, but she's the only one.
No
Fair.
swear jar, but I expect donations when we hit those 1,000 fools. Don't be trying
Hey.
to skimp out on
Oh,
helping
yeah.
the show out, fools.
Hey, we are all really close, man. We're like
We're
at
so
600
close, man.
something right now.
Yeah, we're at like 650 or something like that. We're getting close, man. We're
If
getting
you haven't
close.
subscribed yet, I mean, if you don't like the fact that it comes across your news feed, you can just be like, "Hey, don't send it across my news feed," but you can still subscribe.
If you don't subscribe, you're going to be missing good content because Doug was the first of a lot of interviews I've got lined up from now until forever. So I will be bringing on interviews. We'll be cycling and stuff. We got other stuff to talk about. Color, I'll get out your way, my brother.
Oh, no problem, man. So, what do you think? I'm bringing in the meter. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go like radio style one day. That's
Nice.
all you're gonna see on screen when I do stuff out of my channel. You know what I mean? You're only gonna get to see this ugly mug on the Finn's tailgate.
Hey,
Full
Culler,
radio mode.
I want to go back to something you said.
Well, real quick
Regarding-
before
Go ahead.
you do Wicked, Willie Duper Molina, thank you very much. It says Color TD Doug Miami Sports Fanatic Larry, Reason, Tailgate, Big O, all these Dolphin resources keep a lot of us at an even keel. And shout out to every one of them. Give them all a subscribe, like their stuff, share it. And also, you also left out the Miami sports music in the morning. Stephen D does a great job over there too. Miss Fins has her own channel. She used to go by Jolie in the chat, and she also does a show on TD's channel. All of them. Yep. So, it helps out everybody. It helps the whole community grow. It helps the pool of viewers grow for us all to bring content to. So yeah, absolutely. And make sure you like and share this one too. So go ahead, Wicked Fubar.
Oh no, absolutely. Anytime you need to cut me off for that, you go ahead.
Oh, no problem. We won't be shy.
Yeah. So you brought something up a couple days ago regarding the offensive line and this staff. And I watched some of the interviews today from the coaches. And I'm with you. I think they're going to do a real good evaluation of our current O-line guys, and they're going to see, what we can do, who needs to be coached up. And I think a lot of us who were talking, at the end of the season about scrapping this whole line, we may be surprised to see some of those guys or a majority of those guys actually staying on the roster.
Yeah, which could explain why the sheer quantity of different coaches we brought in.
Absolutely.
Now we're still, I'd imagine we're still going to pepper in some talent for depth purposes, either through free agency or, higher in the draft, however it's got to come. But
I don't
for the
think
most part, I mean, everybody's got to realize that we can argue about the 9-8 and 10-6 record all we want because of our like or our dislike for Flores. We can all argue about it all we want, but remember that the coaching staff, including McDaniel himself, are people that have been on the outside of our organization for a long time. None of these people know until they get in the building what the score really is with everything. So, this is no different than like, for instance, when some of the national media talk about their shock or their surprise when Flores got fired, because they're looking at it from a sheer fourth party perspective of, oh, look, 5-11, 10-6, 9-8, upward trajectory,
what the hell were we thinking? Yeah.
It's a simple matter of they're not in the weeds. They're not in the building. And we can all say, okay, well, personal issue, he got fired. Now we bring this staff in. But we also have to remember that everybody on this staff now is one of those people, like the people in the media or the rest or the greater NFL. They've been dealing with their own business for the last couple years. They don't sit here and nitpick and watch the all 22 on the Miami Dolphins, save for when they've got to play them.
Right.
And so it's not as if these coaches are like, you're going to ask these coaches coming in, what can you do with this team? They're going to say, well, it's a 9-8 and 10-6 team. And we got all this cap space, but we got all this talent too. They're not sitting here looking at it like the fans that hate Flores and the fans that like him and the fans that hate Tua and the fans that like him. They're not sitting here saying, oh, our O-line is trash. You know what I mean? All this and that and the other. Our defense collapses and whatever. No, they're not saying all that stuff. They don't have that same viewpoint.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're looking at it like, we don't care what the reasons are. They're above 500 the last 2 years. The roster seems decent enough to us. Yeah, if you're going to ask me what we're going to do, sure. And even Tua included. Why not? I ain't had a chance to get on it yet. So I think what we're seeing, and I've said it from the start of all this, what we're seeing is a lot more belief of these guys in themselves than really the players at this point, because they're just looking at it from a sheer fourth party perspective coming in like anybody else that's not a Miami Dolphins fan or involved with the Miami Dolphins organization over the last couple of years. You know, like think about what a Pittsburgh fan thinks about stuff about our situation, no matter who you're talking about, quarterback, coach, whatever. You know, the average Cardinals fan. You know what I mean? That's
Well,
who these people are.
I ran into it. I run into it daily, you know, as I'm running around. If I have my Dolphin gear on out here in LA, you there?
Yep, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. You know, I had a guy today, you know, I'm at the store getting stuff for dinner, and he starts, the first thing out of his mouth is, "Hey, what do you think about the Dolphins?" And I was like, "Well, think about what? You know, like what are you talking about?" And he goes, you know, he asked me about Flores, and I gave him, you know, my opinion on Flores. But all he hears is what, you know, the national media, the ESPNs or the Fox or the CBS or NBC. He only hears those shows. And you know, it's, you know, my assessment of Flores is the guy is one hell of a defensive coach. Now, personally, I I think he was overwhelmed as a head coach, and that got away from him as far as putting together a staff. Because when
And I really
look,
don't have any problem agreeing with that.
you know, and I wanted to get your guys' take on this, because I looked at Flores' staff and I started to go through all of the coaches, their resumes, where they've coached, what they've coached. And as I started to do a deep dive into their backgrounds, one of the things I noticed, and it was more so on offense than on defense, is that every single one of our offensive coaches were coaching in an area that they had either never coached before or they only had limited experience. So I don't know if you guys have actually gone back and taken a look at, you know, you look at Stoogesville, you look at Godsey, everybody was in, you know, a level or two above where they kind of should have been from a resume building standpoint. What do you guys think?
Of course, of course. I also want to say, PhinsUp Nubbins here has a interesting comment. And they say, "Culler, I'm in a Cardinals Facebook group. I've had some tell me Tua is better than Kyler. They're saying the same shit we are. It blew my mind." Which is interesting, PhinsUp Nubbins, because the idea got brought up last night about Kyler Murray, and what you know, whether we should pursue or whatnot if somebody like him became available. And my first instinct was that it's a sideways move. And this is nothing. Again, this is why I don't call myself a hater. You know,
I agree with that.
This is a case where, for whatever reason, Kyler's limited. And that was proven out against San Francisco in the playoffs. The type of offense they have to run to make him successful, whatever it may be. Now, I understand DeAndre's was hurt and you know, not really there most of the season. That's, you know, something to be said. But I think, honestly, we'd probably be having this the same discussion if Kyler Murray was our quarterback than if Tua was. You know, maybe there might be a little more production because of the lack of
his legs
or whatnot, and also that
because of his, you know, I mean, like, I agree with you, Cole.
But my biggest thing about my biggest problem with Kyler Murray right out of the gate was exactly that. Like, I think the kid's a great athlete. It's just that, you know, we see running backs run out of gas after year 3. I mean, he has a very short leg stride. And it's nothing to knock him. It's just to say it takes him more steps to do the same speed, which makes him an even more exceptional athlete. The fact that he can pull it off in the NFL.
He's a baseball player.
But that at some point, the human body is just going to run out of that energy, out of that gas. Not to say that he wouldn't still run circles around the average person, but to say to keep that just that edge you need in the NFL. So he's going to also need to evolve his game. And I think that we may end up seeing some of the similar stepping stones that Tua is experiencing now earlier on, because he doesn't utilize the legs to buy himself time the way Kyler does. Kyler kind of has a style similar to Russell Wilson, and I think this is what people really want out of Tua, is this ability to roll out of the pocket right away and see the field that way, and or set yourself up lanes to see out of, to just bomb this thing. You know what I mean? And I understand where they're coming from, but we all have to remember it's the same with the comparisons to Drew Brees. Well, Drew Brees wasn't this or that until this or that. And you look at their frame, their body frame, they're almost identical. But we also have to remember that, I look like a lot of people too. Drew Bertrand looks like a lot of people. I'm sure Wicked looks like a lot of different people. But we're all sitting here talking about playing football, and we're not playing it. So the bottom line is, you can look like somebody. That doesn't mean you're ever going to translate to being that person.
I'm about Kyler Murray's size.
He looks like Drew Brees, so he can be Drew Brees, or he looks like Russell Wilson, so he could be Russell. That's actually so stereotypical. It's unreal and so unfair to Tua. Just let him be him.
It's unfair
if it's good enough, it's good enough. If it's not, it's not. He ain't going to be the first person ever drafted in the first round that wasn't NFL material or let's say elite star material, because I don't want to go that far.
I think there was a lot of
videos I've seen the last couple of days. I definitely think that athlete in those videos is NFL material.
Oh yeah. I think the thing with the Drew Brees comparisons, there's a lot of comparisons to be made there. It's not just size, right? They have both throw left-handed.
Hold on.
Injuries.
Hold on.
Does Chris have a video?
Ted Ginn and Tavon Austin. Just kidding, AB.
No, Drew.
What did you say? We need a water break. You need a water break. Water is for cowards. Water makes you weak. Water is for washing blood off that uniform, and you don't get no blood on my uniform. Boy, you must be outside your mind. We are going to do up-downs until Blue is no longer tired and thirsty.
Flo. That guy's a jerk.
I don't think so.
Oh, he don't play that.
Speaking of hard training,
are you done yet, Snurdly? The second Snurdly 2.0?
I'm done for now, boy.
I doubt it.
So yeah, I mean, it just is what it is. We don't have another quarterback in the building right now. As the tuners like to point out, he's our QB1 cope, right? Well, I'm coping, man. What can I say?
You taking the copium?
I'm trying.
Listen, I'm telling you, when Tua comes out guns blazing at the beginning of the year, everybody who told me that I'm crazy, I'm coming for you. I'm telling you, there's some funky stuff. There's some weird stuff going on in this building.
Could it be said, Drew Bertrand, at the very least, that it wasn't direct sabotage on Tua's part, that it may be a case where he got a bug in his ear above and beyond Flores and knew that Flores was out of the building before Flores did? And it was a case of, well, I'm going to take care of myself. My ribs are still hurting. I'm not going to make the throws like we saw in that video just now. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. In which case, I can be upset over that for a couple of weeks. But hot damn, if we're winning, man, you know what I mean?
Winning cures all.
But you see what I'm trying to do here, though, right?
I feel you.
I'm trying to avoid my obligation to eat crow is what I'm doing.
Yeah, we know.
So if you can provide any kind of, real logic that's so tight that I can say, look, man, I'm not eating crow if Tua gets better. and comes out guns a-blazing. You know what I mean? Like if
Okay,
Tua
okay,
comes
okay.
out game 1 and we don't win that game because Tua doesn't drive the ball down the field and shove it down the defense's throat and make them pay for the one high safety and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Would you eat crow if we come out the first? They haven't released a schedule yet, so we don't know who we're playing the first 3 weeks, do we? Not yet.
no, not
not
we
yet.
have our opponents, but we don't have the schedule.
Okay, let's assume
real
there's
quick,
a good chance one's going to be the Patriots.
Well, real
right?
quick, is it gamey? I mean, I've never had crow. I want to know if it is it like at least
Never had crow. I've had
It
a lot
depends,
of that, dude.
Kohler. It depends if it's a domestic or wild crow.
Well, I was gonna also say, are there places that raise like crow to be like healthy to eat,
Is it farm raised or wild caught?
farm raised crow.
like
Absolutely.
homogenized, like pasteurized, homogenized crow?
Oh my God, farm to table crow.
What would it take for you to concede that there's a good chance that it could be? Would it be like, let's say we come out, let's assume week
Well,
one,
those videos we've been seeing are a start.
Yeah, he looks good, but he's also, it could just be maybe he's just.
But see, here's
better.
the
Maybe
thing:
he's
I'm not
healing.
looking at it in the overall picture. I'm looking at very specific things in those videos that speak to the very things that are causing him issues on the field.
Yeah,
in his throwing mechanics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Power, lead, all kinds of different things.
Yeah. The other thing too is like the twitchiness you see kind of in his bottom, the bottom half in the hips and everything. It's very
or the lackadaisical swing around of his leg when he's standing in the pocket.
It looked tighter. I will say that.
Which turned into like a duck floater to he might have actually completed that pass. I don't remember, but it was just like, look, this is like why right here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Here's the thing. And this is something I take a lot of flack from people, a couple people that are currently in our chat. I take a lot of flack from when I point out the fact that I include that touchdown to Devontae Parker in the Jets game in one of these passes that I talk about when I talk about this is not a elite quarterback. And the first thought, I mean, see, it's so antithetical to say, oh, look at this. This guy's not elite. You're criticizing a touchdown pass. You see what I'm saying, Drewbatron? But it's not really fair if you look at the touchdown pass and you realize who our opponent was, who the receiver is, where the ball was placed when you talk about accuracy, like the conversation was earlier in the night on a different channel. Like and subscribe. Go over there and like and subscribe too. That's TD Fins Talk. Great content over there. That you got help me back. I'm sorry. I got thrown off by a plug.
You're talking about him being an elite passer and using the Devontae Parker touchdown as an example.
So by the way, you can nice job, Capitan. So you can catch me as well forgetting everything too on TMI on Tuesday nights with Tonk 7. He should be he was in the chat a minute ago too. And also Mike on the mic. The open mic's on Tuesday, and he also does drop the mic on Saturday. Great content from Mike too. You can catch him on TD's channel, and also as well as myself, Thursday nights, 10 o'clock, forgetting everything. And make sure if you're so generous to help out, you can help out the Fins Tailgate at $, the Fins Tailgate with the Cash App or the Fins Tailgate at Venmo. So
Culler, you need to do some more brain exercises.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You do Wordle?
Absolutely.
Do you play Wordle?
No, I can't do that kind of stuff, man.
So what's that thing that Rogan is pushing, the alpha brain thing?
I wouldn't take anything Joe Rogan pushes.
So the DVP touchdown, right?
Yeah.
So we're talking about the Jets. The ball is behind him. DVP makes an unbelievable behind the back catch.
Yeah, a beautiful
stretch back across his body, which also hurts the ribs. I've done it myself, but I'm just wondering, if on that throw, if we're talking about a championship level cornerback like Jalen Ramsey, for instance, if that ball isn't taken right out of Devontae's backside and run for a touchdown the other way.
What was
I don't like to play the what ifs game on
But
stuff
see,
like
that's
that.
what I'm trying to say. It's not a matter of what if, it's a matter of the ball was thrown behind him, touchdown or not.
Sure.
And
Well, it
it's
was
not
a hell
as
of
if
a
it's
play by
one-off.
Devontae.
It's not as if it's a one-off where it's like, oh, it's a one-off late throw, but it was a touchdown. So, oh, well, no, every one of his incompletions are late throws or over-the-head throws. Like out of or completely out of even the realm of catchable. That's just
like,
one where it happened to be that it was close enough that a receiver like DVP, could make that catch.
So I wanna push back on something, and it's something I was hoping to push back a little bit again on TD, but I didn't want to get into it too much on his stream. But it's when we talk about like he was talking today about precision and accuracy, and he was going through some of the PFF report on Tua, and he very conveniently skipped over a big part, and I want him to go over it and talk about it a little more next time. And it's about his accuracy chart. And Tua is, as far as accuracy, again, we're talking about within that 10-yard range, because outside of that 10-yard range and outside of his first read, it kind of drops off. And I think that's more poor decision making because of I think he's a little bit scared behind in the pocket. But his accuracy chart, I mean, he's got well above average accuracy according to PFF's their gradings of all of his throws. Most of his throws, about 60% of his throws are on target, which is well above average. He is very accurate, but then again, it's also, a lot of his throws are within 10 yards, but anybody can throw
But
those.
again, it's complete perspective, Drew Bachon. It's like the word speed. I've made this analogy before. It's like the word speed when you talk about network transmission, data transmission, right?
Okay.
You can talk about amount of work done over a period of time would be expressed as bit rate. And we can say that that's speed because you're saying, look, this is how fast the data got from point A to point B because it's expressed in work over time.
Sure.
Right. But when you talk about speed being how fast does the electron of the data that represents the signal of the data, how fast does that travel down the line in whatever form it is, be it, radio wave, photon, whatever it may be. When you talk about how fast that's traveling down the transmission line, that's expressed in hertz, cycles per second. Like that's expressed in pure velocity terms, like speed.
Yeah.
And so it just depends on what perspective you're talking about when you talk about speed. Are you talking about work done over time, or are you talking about sheer velocity?
Yeah.
That's two different concepts. The same with accuracy. It's the same kind of word. It just depends on the perspective. If you're talking about work done over time, you're going to talk about accuracy in terms of percentages. If you're talking about pure velocity or pure, precision is what we would like to say in this case as a synonym, then you're talking about ball placement. And ball placement is another expression of accuracy from a different perspective.
Yeah,
and
from
that perspective, Tua is not accurate.
But that's not. I mean, again, unless PFF is lying, what I'm referring to is not completion percentage. I'm referring to ball placement. In PFF's report, they talk about ball placement, and they're talking about his.
Yeah, but here's the thing: what are they talking about? A range around the receiver, a radius around the receiver.
I think are
they counting that radius behind the receiver's back too?
Yeah, they have.
See, that's completely unfair because here's the thing though. To even hit a receiver dead on in the NFL is a late football.
No, they're counting. No, you're.
So if you're saying, oh, well, it was behind his back, but it was still within the arm reach of the receiver based on a diameter around the guy.
That's the thing, Culler. They separate each of those throws by too high or overthrown or in front or too far in front. And when we're talking about accurate on point, it's where the ball should be.
So they make a statistical adjustment.
Yeah. So for instance, if you're leading a receiver,
yeah, but it doesn't tell you what trajectory it should be coming from on that given play. It just tells you where the ball should be.
Hey guys, how y'all doing tonight?
It doesn't tell you whether the ball should have been thrown or not. It doesn't tell you what the arc on the parabola of the throw should have been.
We're talking.
It doesn't tell you any of that stuff.
Well, we don't. Yeah, no, I'm not talking about arc or velocity.
It doesn't tell you how fast the ball should have been coming in to avoid being intercepted.
That doesn't matter.
No, but it does, because they're looking at it as a pure spot on the field, as an arbitrary way to say this is where the ball should have been. Well, there's 500 different ways the ball could have got there, and only one of them is the right way.
But I'm talking about pure accuracy and ball placement for the receiver to catch the ball. I'm not talking about whether or not yes or no he should have thrown the ball to that receiver.
Well, then I don't know what they're looking at, because when I watch a football game all the way through, I just don't see those balls. I don't know what they're talking about.
Them grading every pass.
I mean, are they just interjecting plays that didn't happen? I don't,
My understanding is they go through every play.
It's every pass. They go through every pass and grade every single pass.
So how would they have graded? So how would they have graded that touchdown pass to Devontae Parker?
It probably would have been graded as behind. It wouldn't have been an accurate pass. They have stats for that, so I can see behind passes. I will say he's below average at, meaning he throws more passes behind the receiver than the average NFL quarterback does, right? But as far as throwing the ball accurately in where it should be for the receiver to catch the ball in the correct space,
well,
right?
Yeah.
Not
if you're
just
saying that, then
ball.
you're saying that, then you agree with me, because those behind the receiver passes cause 3 and outs.
Yeah, Culler, but every quarterback throws those every once in a while. It's not like Tua throws those every time. And based on PFF's ratings, he's throwing more accurate passes than the average NFL quarterback.
There's also something to be said for throwing those passes when they matter.
Yeah, and
that's a different story. That's a different story. We're talking about ball placement, because this is a big thing that's being pushed about Tua, is that his ball placement is bad. And I will say there's times where you can see it, especially in that Titans game, whether you want to chalk it up to he's hurt or the weather. His ball placement of the game was awful. He was throwing the ball all over the place.
What about the Jacksonville game where he threw into 3 defenders with no receiver to be in sight?
What about
That's
when
probably
he took
an
us back,
overthrown ball?
It brought us back in the lead for the Jaguars game, and the defense choked like the rest of the season when they always choke. Kohler,
I'm not going there.
I will, because that's 3 wins. That was 2 with Jacoby Brissett and 1 with Tua.
No, stop. Look, I for every game the defense lost us, Tua probably cost us just as many, if not more. I look, in the Jacksonville game, if you want to complain that maybe the defense could have stepped up, that's fair, right?
They should have stepped up twice.
They should have. That's fine. For every game that the defense has lost us, we can bring up just as many, if not more, games where Tua should have carried us over the hump. Again, in that Jacksonville game, we should have outscored Jacksonville.
Okay, so that all being said, we're gonna hold on a second. I want to get a couple other people.
No, who was the quarterback in the Jacksonville game?
Hold on, CT. I want to give you guys a chance to speak. I just wanted to kind of just nail it down as far as the last segment there. So basically, I need to go have my glasses checked out. We all agree on that. Let's say, yes. CT, you wanted to say something? Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to comment on that one thing. That what people forget again is 2 of those games that we should have won, both the Raiders and the Jacksonville game. Tua was not starting. So that's what I said. 2 of those games that the defense lost for us was when Jacoby was starting. 1 was with Tua. And I get it. The whole point is, and I made this point the other night, is the Rams, their defense stepped up with the game on the line. And there were 3 games this year that our defense, one where Tua went and drove us down the field and got us in position to win, the defense choked, just like Squid Game said.
That happens. But for great teams, those games can be mitigated by 45-point ball gains from their offense. So thanks for that anyway, though, CT. Green Rat, did you want to say something?
Yeah, and like usual,
so you're saying that. Oh Jesus!
I totally agree with you.
So you think that all of a sudden Jacoby Brissett's going to put 45 points up? That's not happening.
But the fact that we can only bring up maybe 1 or 2 games where the defense cost us the game.
It was 3 this year, 2 with it, 1 with 2.
You can't rely solely on your defense to win. At some point, look, I'm all for like giving.
Well, we averaged 20.4 points a game, and sometimes 7 of those was scored by our defense. So again, Green Rat, go ahead. What did you want to say, Green Rat?
I agree with you, Culler, on the last topic, and that those stats are kind of like separation. It depends on when you judge the separation. I think they try to judge it as you catch the ball, how much separation you had. Well, if the quarterback's late on the throw, well, the separation's a little not as much as it was if he was leading the receiver, stuff like that. So I take some of those stats as just a grain of salt, to be honest. But I kind of agree with you. I don't think he's all that accurate.
Oh, hell no.
Because I don't think the ball placement is correct.
Oh, hell no, bro. Come on, chill out, Green Rat.
Dude, come on. Really?
Look, if
how many passes was in the hands and the receiver stayed at a full sprint the whole time? Towards the end of the year, he had some, but actually his deep passes, some of those weren't too bad. But if you want to call accurate that the guy catches the ball, then sure. But if you talk ball placement, it's something completely different, guys.
Yeah, I'm talking about ball placement.
And you just brought up something that's really important that a lot of people fail to take into account is how often did he get to actually work with a lot of these wide receivers? And yes, toward the end of the year, they were much more in stride. But a lot of that has to do with building timing. And not only that, yes, he's a rhythm passer. And I agree that he absolutely was inconsistent in his ball placement.
CT, I can agree with that. So my mom's got about 1.5 acres out in Scratch Me, and we can all go out there and do this with the receivers. Tua can come out. We can smoke a pig. We can all dress in lays. We can have a great old time and start throwing the ball
bring the
around.
Cajachina.
When is that going to
And
happen?
I agree. But you also have to remember that a lot of these wide receivers through injury, Devontae Parker being gone, Preston Williams, these are guys he worked in the offseason with. Granted, are all of them going to put in the same amount of work? Absolutely not. Devontae Parker, I think the report was that he went out 2 or 3 times throwing with Tua. So some guys aren't as committed as other guys, but he was out there consistently.
You think a guy like Amari Cooper? You think a guy like Amari Cooper would be demanding that out of somebody like Tua?
No. I'm not saying it was Tua's fault. I'm
just
saying
as an
that
idea.
CT,
just as an idea to pivot. You know what I mean? Do you think a guy like Amari Cooper would kind of demand that kind of thing out of his quarterback?
Hell yeah, and good wide receivers do. But that's where I think that we have that lack of veteran leadership because, beyond Devontae Parker, his work ethic is already crap. And beyond Jalen Waddle, yeah, we had Albert Wilson, which Tua was out there working with Albert Wilson. Tua was out there working with Lynn Bowden Jr. He was working out with a lot of these Gesicki and a lot of these wide receivers and tight ends. The problem is when half of them are hurt, and then we bring in Isaiah Ford that he's never worked with because, Isaiah Ford was just bagging groceries at 7-Eleven, and all of a sudden he's coming back.
He's worked with Ford quite a bit,
man. Ford catches the balls thrown to him. I'll give him.
I will give him that. But the fact I was more
as a guy that played the position, that's one of the most important parts of the position to me is actually being able to catch the football. You know,
Hey,
this is
Cole.
why I'm off Preston. You know what I mean? I
Otherwise, you're a
understand he's a
cornerback.
great athlete and all that, but he's at this point in his career where he's like refusing to catch the football now.
Well, that's part of it, but also he can't stay healthy, which is why him and Devontae Parker both need to go. And that's very frustrating to me. And we brought it up, last night with Doug, and when,
how about Crowder? How about Crowder to take the slot duties off the back of Waddle? Somebody like Jamison Crowder at $14 million coming out of New York.
I would be okay with it. I just think that we have other places we need to spend that money. I wouldn't be against bringing in.
I know. I can think of a great place like Brandon Cooks and the guy that was throwing the ball to him last year in 2019 or 2020.
Culler, I don't think DVP will be
I'm
let
just
go
kidding,
unless
CT.
he's-
So
unless
CT,
someone trades
go
for
ahead,
him.
Green Rat. I want to get some CT's opinion on something else too. But go ahead, real quick, Green Rat, if you have something to say.
Yep, I think DVP will only be traded. If he doesn't get traded, he'll be with us next year. That's just my opinion.
So CT, cap. I know you can't. I'm glad you came on. I was trying to get you on one earlier, but I don't know if you got a chance to hear my my monologue tonight on the the nature of encouragement that I feel from the hype videos that have been kind of circulating about on Tua's training. And I know you can't, I know in your capacity you can't really speak on specific players, but do you think as far as an overall medical synopsis on any given person or athlete, based on the things I was saying, do you think that is there anything you'd really correct from a medical standpoint out of what I said, putting aside Tua Tagovailoa?
I didn't get a chance to watch it. I was dealing with some family stuff, so when I hopped on. So I'm not exactly sure.
Well, I was really speaking to the ability of a person in general to throw against their natural direction on the run without resetting their footwork and everything, and how that may affect a person even without an injury, and how it may feel on their ribs if they're not especially flexible in that department. Having thrown the ball quite a bit throughout my life, on in high school ball and also the backyard, I know for myself I've had to get over the pain you feel when you kind of throw that way.
But you don't know like Tua.
Well, I'm not speaking of Tua, but just in general, because there's some video out of Tua where it shows him with the ability to make that throw.
Exactly.
Without wincing or anything. So I was just thinking, hold on there a second.
26, baby.
Hold on there a second, Squid.
All right.
You haven't sold me yet. Okay, don't worry. What I'm really meaning to say is, is that kind of throw in general possible for even a guy like me if I had some kind of rib injury or pain in my rib area?
Well, it depends.
Am I allowed to ask? Are you allowed to answer a question?
Yeah. I think that it again, it depends on how long after the injury, because you're gonna have some residual pain there. You're gonna have some issues, but you would think that even within the 2 to 4 week range of the bone healing, you're still going to have some soreness. You're still going to have some swelling.
What I mean is I've seen people healthy people wince making that type of throw. So it's not something the average person can even really do.
Yeah, and I think some of that is, again, if people aren't, you're not used to doing it, you don't have the trunk rotation, you don't have the flexibility. Yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable.
I mean, the ability has become a little more standard for an NFL quarterback, but back in the day, I mean, remember that was something like Elway or Marino had the ability to do that really nobody else did.
Yeah, and a lot of that
mainly because of their pure arm strength. Mainly because of their pure arm strength, because the arm strength is what allows you to not have to rotate as much in that awkward way and really pinch your ribs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I don't think that the ribs necessarily are a huge problem in that. It's more so.
Oh, I'm just saying that's where I usually feel the pain when I'm trying to make that kind of throw is what I mean.
Well, Yeah, you're gonna the lower back and your abdominals. Yeah, but a lot of that, like you said, though, is when you're having those across body throws, especially guys, Patrick Mahomes and whatever, who jump and do it and whatever, or even if you don't and you're not setting your feet. Yeah, your base is your power. That's where your torque comes from, where you have the ability to put velocity on the ball. But when you're in that type of situation, it's pure trunk rotation, but also your muscles in your upper back, your shoulders, as well as your arm, that you can get as much velocity as you can with as little movement as possible. And it's harder for quarterbacks who don't have that cannon of an arm to make those kind of throws.
Yeah, because they end up having to reset and the ball just goes in a straight line. I mean, it goes to the line of where they set their feet at. You know what I mean? So the trick is to not reset your feet, but still get the hip rotation to carry that throw out. And what happens is it allows the ball to kind of carry the same momentum as your direction you're running, which helps for a lot, to get the just the ever so bit of touch lead that you want on your receiver. So Q was saying, here we go with back in the day, Julius Caesar is dead, Color. Yeah, but you're not even, you have to go further back than that, man. I mean, we're talking Sulla, maybe Marius days. You know what I mean? Forget Caesar, man. I'm way older than that, man. But appreciate it though. Elway had a nice arm. AB says Elway had a nice arm, only win a Super Bowl later in his career when they became a running team. Yeah, that was kind of the way it was, AB. That was the limitation for even the elite quarterbacks back then. Look at, I wouldn't even, I guess by today's standards, with today's rules, if you put a big guy like Troy Aikman back there, he probably would have a Hall of Fame career. But I never really put Troy Aikman in that category with Marino and Elway simply because of Emmitt Smith. But Elway still made it to the bowl. He just lost them. And they were still contenders. I guess one could argue they didn't contend against Montana, but that's Montana. You got to remember that too, AB, is these guys were going up against each, you had just like you do now, you have the best of the best against each other in the Super Bowl. To try to compare a Super Bowl loss by Joe Burrow to a regular season win by Tua is like not even comparable sometimes. And it's not Tua's fault. I would say that about a lot of quarterbacks in the league, and good quarterbacks. You got to realize that Joe Burrow just went up against the best in the world, and now we know they're the best in the world. They're the ones holding the Lombardi trophy.
Yeah, but Culler, Tua's done it too. Just like
Tua has not gone up against the best in the world and competed.
What was that?
Tua has not competed against the best in the world. He has not shown one bit of evidence that he can contend with the best in the world.
Who is the top two quarterbacks in 2019?
He plays for Clemson.
I don't have the numbers off the top of my head. Who? Tell me.
Trevor Lawrence and
no, it was Joe Burrow and Tua, LSU and Alabama.
Man, I don't want to talk about that game. That was fucking.
But Tua brought him back.
I don't know.
I'm not just talking about the game. I'm talking about the two quarterbacks, the top two.
That was an offensive game right there.
I don't really what Tua did in college doesn't matter anymore, dude. It's he's in the NFL.
Was Joe Burrow the best in the world in college?
Doesn't matter, bro. I'll take that Tua card right off your back if you want me to. Like I'll send you the address, shipping.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll get you the comps. I have a few of them. I'm trying to offload.
Nah, but for real, Culler, Tua, man. I
was Joe Burrow the best in the world when he was in LSU?
It gets to me as a Tua near.
Tua was the most successful quarterback in.
Okay, but what I said was Tua has not gone up against and contended against the best in the world. That's all I said.
No, because and that's agreeable. And people, fail to realize this, and I bring it up all the time. Think about 1,500 people, 1,500 players out of every millions and millions of kids growing up playing football. These are the best of the best of the best.
Sure.
And trying to compete on this level.
That's why I said I would say it about other quarterbacks, not just Tua.
No,
There's
I
plenty
agree.
of
And that's what
quarterbacks
I
that
was
are
saying
great
is
quarterbacks that cannot compete with the best in the world, or if they do, they come up just short. What I'm saying is, even the best in the world have to face the best in the world in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not.
That,
I'm just saying that
the point. But remember, the point was about Elway not winning until later in his career with a running game. And this is also a point AB likes to make a lot about Dan Marino not getting any rings too. So are we just saying now that Elway and Thurman Thomas and that whole crew wasn't the best in the world? Well, that's who they had to get through to get to the Super Bowl.
No, I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying
I'm
that
not saying you are. I'm just pointing out, that this notion that Dan Marino isn't one of the best in the world because he didn't get a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, that's ridiculous of an argument.
Josh Allen, listen to this. Listen to Josh Allen's first few years, and then
again, it comes down to real quick, Squid. Again, it comes down to just like it does with Patrick Mahomes. There was not a fan in Arrowhead that night with 13 seconds left that didn't think Mahomes wasn't going to do something to win that game. There was not a fan in Arrowhead that had one doubt.
I don't know about that.
No. I'm not saying it was a guarantee. I'm not saying it was a guarantee. What I'm saying is every fan in Arrowhead had full confidence that Mahomes was going to do something in 13 seconds to pull that game out.
I hear you.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like I know that
we haven't felt
Josh
that way
Allen,
since
85
in a long time.
62-7. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. When we were down 35-0 in the first quarter that day against Jacksonville, every one of us in Miami and the greater Miami area, every one of us thought Dan Marino was going to march us the way on back and win that game. Not one of us thought we were going to walk out with 62-7.
Hey, Culler, everyone thought the Patriots were going to come back against us last game of the season.
Here's another one. Hey, real quick, Squid. I'll give you one on the Patriots. Okay, at halftime against the Falcons, I looked at the score. I got up off the couch and I said, that ain't enough. And I walked in and made me some coffee. And guess what happened?
Culler, you can't blame that one on Tua. Culler, did you see he brought us back? And then
that was Jason Sanders.
Especially in that Atlanta game, I felt like Tua, after he recovered from that interception,
he recovered.
Like he played good and brought us back. Yeah. And then the defense, you could take that pick for the defense if you want to correct that. But
so real quick, Drubachon, you got a jet out. Is there something you wanted to say before you
Yeah, I'm gonna hop off. I appreciate you guys having me on, and keep it real. Listen,
you've been having something going on over Twitch.
Yeah, so if you guys want to come check me out, I'm on Twitch, twitch.tv/Drubatron. I'm streaming at least twice a week over there. I'm doing a Miami Dolphins rebuild, guys. So if you want to be part of that rebuild,
and you're using the game engine, or using a game engine for that?
Well, on this one, I'm using Football GM. It's a browser-based simulator. It's a pretty good one, but I'm gonna wrap up that one on my next stream, and then the next sim we're gonna do in Madden.
Great.
Mike McDaniel as the head coach. So
cool.
So yeah, be in there, and then taking input on trades, on free agents to sign, and it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Anything else you wanted to say on the subject matter tonight?
Yeah, just like when we talk about Tua, we have to keep an even keel. When we talk about, everybody likes to bring up the Josh Allen equivalencies, and to be fair, it's nice to think about, but there's about, out of 100 QBs that had similar stats, I think there was maybe one or two that turned out to be good as Josh Allen. The other 98 ended up not being Josh Allen. So
97, because Tua is one of them.
Maybe, but we got to stop using Josh Allen as an example for maybe Tua can be good, because there's 97 other Josh Allens that didn't make it. But I like the positivity. We got to stay positive, because if we don't, there's a lot of really sad, depressing stuff happening in the world. and a lot of sad, depressing stuff happening in the organization.
Mhm.
So, as long we got each other here at least, so we got to keep it positive.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate that, John. Yep.
Love, says Steven.
And you have a good one, buddy.
Have a great night, guys.
Yep. And
Have a good
guys,
night,
everybody, guys, make sure if you haven't already, like and share this video and subscribe to the Fins Tailgate. It really helps out. We're getting inching closer and closer to 1,000. Plus, you can also catch Tonk 7 and myself on Tuesdays at 9 with TMI Tuesdays. You can catch Mike on the mic with open mic platform on Tuesdays and drop the mic on Saturday. He always that's the fastest Fin on the web, I like to call him. And then you can always catch myself on Thursday nights now at 10 o'clock. And also, guys, if you're always feeling generous, you can go use the Cash App to help out the Fins Tailgate at $ the Fins Tailgate and Venmo with the Fins Tailgate. So like and share the video, subscribe, head over to my channel, prod me to get more stuff out, subscribe there too. And so MC, I forgot to properly introduce or welcome you tonight, man. So how you doing tonight?
Good. How you
What do
doing,
you got
Culler?
going on these days?
I've been working like crazy. It's been rough. I work at the Home Depot, as I think you knew that from the last show or yesterday. Did you?
Yeah, we kind of figured as much.
Yeah.
You know it's not
we
Lowe's.
I don't think I'm supposed to talk about this, but fuck it, who cares? We've had 2 guys already, I'm just going to say left. I'm not going to say the F-bomb. Well, fucking now I said the F-bomb. Yeah, that 2 guys kind of left. And I had to come in every single day from like 2 o'clock, 2:30, sometimes 1:30 to 10:30, sometimes 11. So
Did somebody talk to them that way or something?
Pardon?
Did somebody talk to them that way or something?
What do you mean? Like,
because you can't talk to people that way. So, I was.
I want to know
was
why
like-
they left, brother. Why'd they leave?
Okay. Thank you, Capitan, for that.
Was the
very
coach
much.
too rough on him?
No, they kept calling that. I hate you, Chris. I hate you so much. What the fuck? Oh my god! I'm sorry. Again.
Everybody love everybody! Come on!
And so back.
See what you did, MC?
Oh my god!
Now he's
man.
getting trigger happy on the deck, man.
All right, back to what I was saying. Yeah. So I started the home about 4 weeks ago. I'm just kind of getting into rollbacking things, and so on and so forth. Yeah, I've been trying to chase the bag, basically.
No golf ball messages for us tonight behind you.
Do you want me to make you one? I got you.
What do you got back there now?
yeah,
Like, how
let's
about
get one.
impromptu? What's on there now?
Let's see. Absolutely nothing.
All right. Well, we'll give you a second to get that worked out.
I got you, Colin.
So how about you, Squid? How you been, man? Drinking out of any shoes lately?
I got a new pair. I'm trying to get them nice and ready for
That's how you season them.
Hey, I know Chris is back there. He knows whenever he gives me the call, the shoe's on the way. So, I'm
Oh yeah, brother. I know who to call for the shoot down, man. It's
Yes,
football
sir.
ain't happening, but the Heat are still playing, and there'll be some UFC fights, and I might call like a live UFC fight or something like that in the off season. I've been thinking.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
damn right.
saying? Maybe we get some shoe action happening on that mud. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
You gonna practice your Joe Rogan? Oh,
Bro, listen, it's fighting. There ain't no way you're not gonna get. Whoa, there's just
Why are we
no
owing?
UFC,
Just hoping.
bitches getting
I'm
choked
just-
out. I mean,
so CT, as a medical professional, do you or do you not recommend drinking alcohol out of a shoe?
Well, I was just gonna say, so my first thing would be he needs like the bowling situation, a big, can of disinfectant, because
if he's
I'm
drinking
sorry, but it is
101 If he's drinking 101 or some high proof alcohol, with doing shoeies, you're good, bro. That's killing everything. I don't
That's
get it.
not true. That is not true. Stop spreading misinformation,
Bro, what are
Chris.
you talking
It
about?
doesn't
You
kill
drink
the
some
plague,
Here's
man.
why. Here's why. Is yes, in
whiskey's
his
been a
mouth, yes.
medicine forever, CT. Don't try to change history on me, bro.
Oh no. If he before that freaking alcohol hits his lips and he's sucking in some sweat and dirt from the day before, it doesn't matter. Once it's absorbed in your capillaries in your mouth, it doesn't matter if alcohol comes afterward or not. That is absolute misinformation. Now, if he covered the whole thing with alcohol and let it set for 4 or 5 minutes and then did a shoey, then yes. I would
Bro.
concede to that.
Take a shot of 101 before the shoey. There ain't nothing.
Oh,
living
see, you didn't say that. You said straight out the shoe.
If you were drinking 101 the whole time, you could
I got a word.
drink out of the toilet, bro. You can do whatever you want. And you got 101
Hey.
down your gullet, lining your throat. You could do.
I want to blow everybody's mind right now. So it's an interesting stat that came out the other day. It's absolutely horrendous. It is cleaner for you to lick your toilet seat
What is it?
than it is for you to touch money, bro.
What is it?
It is. It is cleaner for you to lick your own toilet seat than to touch money.
Oh, money nasty.
It is disgusting, bro.
Money's nasty. Money's nasty. Ain't you ever been to a strip club, bro? Come on, bro.
Well, that and all the dudes who snort coke out of it, you got some mucus on there. You got all kinds of stuff.
There's every bodily fluid known to man is on money. Done.
Oh yeah, and people
Rat,
touch
so
it
Green
and
Rat,
lick
you've
their
been listening to all
fingers.
this.
Oh, it's disgusting, bro.
Green Rat, you've been listening to all this. Can you confirm or deny ever having drank alcohol out of a shoe?
I
Word
have
on the
never
street,
done
Green
it,
Rat. That's
and
not
I
what I
haven't
heard,
drank
Green Rat.
for
I got a video of
20
you doing it.
years.
I want to see the video.
Snurdly 2.0 says he's got a video of you doing it.
Does anyone have the clip of me doing it?
So John says Fernandez says son of Wicked's boy just got drafted in the USFL to Tampa team. What do you mean by son of Wicked's boy? Like his son or his favorite player?
I got a golf ball word.
Hit us up, MC. What do you got? Oh yeah, of course.
Yep.
America.
All right, that 2 seconds just served
Always.
as our moment of silence for the people who are getting their houses bombed in Ukraine.
I'm sorry.
Wake up, sleepy Joe.
That was live coverage of Finn's tailgate on the scene in
Too
Ukraine,
soon? That wasn't good, right? That was
interviewing
kinda
the locals.
What did he say?
Messed up.
He said that was too soon.
That was too soon. That was too soon.
I'll just
Captain
play. I'll just play
Inform.
more of the perform footage. I'll just, that's what I'll do. I'll just play more of the perform.
The meme was too soon. I don't know about what I said.
Stupid tire! You freaking tire! You should get out of me! Ah, kick your ass!
3.5.
Yeah.
It's good to see Tua
That's
got
live.
better.
That's
he got
live
better at the
coverage.
drills.
That's live coverage at training camp of the Finn's tailgate on the scene of Tua Tagovailoa in actual practice.
Hey, you haven't played in years. Why can't I be quarterback, huh?
You're right. Let's see what you got. Hit me. I'm open.
Hi.
That's why. Now sit down and shut up.
It slipped. I just ate popcorn.
Not that he just ate popcorn.
Yeah, that's the worst
No,
part.
Q, again, I was dead serious about the moment of silence.
Yeah, man. Crazy.
And there we just had another one.
And another.
No. No what?
Oh, Chris, you gotta get the alligator toofuses one, man. That's my favorite.
Mama said.
Mama said alligators angry because they got all them toofuses and they got no toothbrush.
Best linebacker movie in the whole wide world. That
clip kills me every time. You're wrong. No
Too bad
Colonel
we don't have
Sanders.
too bad we don't have
wrong.
footage of our new wide receiver.
And then he tackles Colonel Sanders. That shit is hilarious.
We'll have to get that. We'll have to find that one in queue. You know, the one who's ready to go in. That's asking to be put in, asking the coach to be put in the game. You know which one I'm talking about, Chris.
Yeah.
we'll get that one queued up eventually.
The high quality water.
We've got actual footage of Tua chasing a Super Bowl ring. We don't have it on deck right at the moment.
Can someone save that clip for me when Tua brings us the Super Bowl so we can replay that? So someone say what Culler just said. So
is that the clip you're talking about?
No, Cap. It'll be something you haven't thought of yet.
I gotta get
from another movie.
You'll have to get me. You'll have to turn me on to it because I wasn't paying attention. I got other things going on back here. Right.
Yeah, it was actual footage from Dolphins training camp of Tua chasing a Super Bowl ring.
He watching that.
The Super Bowl's coming. Super Bowl's coming.
We'll have it. Just stay tuned, everybody. Maybe another show. If you like and subscribe and hit the notify bell, you'll be notified of new content from the Fins Tailgate.
He'll win the Super Bowl ring.
And by the way, this hat, I know it's ugly, but you can get it at the fanatics.com. And if you're going to be buying Fanatics from fanatics.com, please use the link in the description below.
I got hold by.
They've got everything you need and Tua jerseys. They've even got MLB stuff, and MLB is like, it's on shaky waters right now.
I got hope.
Hey, Culler, nothing gets me more excited than a Tua jersey.
I know.
Time.
Well, nothing gets the Fins Tailgate more excited than you using the link in the description below to buy that said Tua jersey.
Oh, that was awesome. That was a good segue.
Preach, Culler.
I need some auto-tune. What did he say?
Yeah, we know, AB. That's why it's all in good fun. We know.
To a town.
I'm not going up against any Hawaiians anytime soon. Trust me.
The Moen boys. The Rock.
And that's with all due respect to Hawaiians.
Culler, quick question. How'd you do that with your screen?
Oh, I'm just running through a virtual camera through like some broadcast software. So I got a couple. Cool. I got a couple different scenes made up.
Like I see the one in the
that's like raw, just camera. But
that's pretty cool. Oh, okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that.
Oh, he had to bring out the Lake Worth thing. Todd ain't here to pull down on it.
I know, right?
What's Lake Worth?
That's his high school, man. Come on.
Well, I'm not from Florida. I didn't know.
No. Todd's been giving him shit for like 2 weeks now about being from Lake Worth.
The real Trojans. There's several throughout the country, but we are the genuine article.
Are they from South Florida? I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's the oldest high school in Palm Beach County, founded in 1922.
Sheesh,
which is why they were saying that Color's as old as dirt.
Right, pretty much.
The whole thing earlier. When Culler had said that he's past Caesar, bro. He said it himself.
On the other hand,
he still has an amazing announcer voice. Don't get me wrong.
That is the newest hotel in Broward County.
Oh man.
Oh, that's the guitar one.
Yeah, it's shaped like a guitar.
Yeah, at night it lights up.
I saw that on Airbnb one time.
The top of it lights up.
Are they affiliated with Hard Rock?
Yeah, that's the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, basically. That's the new building in the complex.
I haven't been there in a while, so
there are spotlights that shoot out of the top to basically form the neck of the guitar at night. And also the face of the building, or like not just the face but the sides too, but the whole building is also RGB, like aura technology. They can, you know, totally cycle through all the colors and make whatever design they want on the face and all that.
That's
like
badass.
with, you know, with computer aided software and all that. So at nighttime, sometimes they'll have it a solid color, sometimes it'll be cycling through, sometimes it might say something, you know, or whatever, but it's pretty cool. And it's
I need one of those.
it's about 10 minutes up the turnpike from Hard Rock Stadium.
Okay.
So if you're heading down the turnpike, you'll pass it every time. Like that's what we were doing that day, is heading to Hard Rock. It's about 10 minutes from there, so you know you're almost there when you pass by that building. So awesome. Yeah, you can understand why it's, you know, with the whole gambling thing and all that, why everything's so important and on edge right now, because they're basically trying to make that whole corridor from that whole area right there to all the way to the stadium. They're trying to make that like a Vegas type strip eventually.
Culler, I gotta hop out, but as you see my name right there, Joe Burrow, yeah, I gotta hop out because I have a cigar practice in about 10 minutes. But
right on, Icy. Right on, Icy. You have a good night, man. Thanks for stopping by. So yeah, they're real anxious. They want to make that whole area like the Vegas of the Southeast.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
You know.
So I don't know, man. I'm excited though. You were saying earlier, you know, with the videos and all that, you're excited. I'm even more excited hearing the coaches talk yesterday and some of the things they had to say.
CT, what's encouraging to me is at least there's no, you can't tell me anybody in those videos, no matter what their name might be, is in any pain when they're doing that stuff. I mean, I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying, wow, you know, that shows me, you know, excuse number one checked off the list. You know what I mean? Like, there's no pain going on there. And it's encouraging. It's encouraging to see the flexibility too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting earlier today. It was brought up that there was some definite information coming out about the nature of the building and how things worked. It was pretty interesting. About how Albert Wilson had said that, you know, even though he opted out one year and he was injured the next, that you couldn't walk through the hallway and stare up and, you know, talk to people and say hi to people, that it was you keep your head down, you be quiet, you just go to your meetings kind of thing. I don't know, man. Pretty interesting.
It reminds me of every other Massachusetts run organization.
Yeah, and that's where I was saying it's
not
like
saying I used to work for one.
It shouldn't come as no surprise. It shouldn't come as any surprise to anybody.
I don't know. We really don't know what the hell went on. I mean, I don't think we really ever will.
But yeah, I can see. But Green Rat in that respect, though, if you know, being a guy from that area and have, you know, I mean, I just got firsthand experience working with a company from Massachusetts. It's pretty rough. It's pretty soulless. We'll at least say that.
Yeah. For as much as I try to get you going all the time about flow and stuff. I mean, I you know, I thought he did a pretty good job at, you know, as coach, minus whatever the hell happened between the third year, I think, is when everything really fell apart for the team. I don't think it was early. I think it was late. So, but
well, that all remains to be seen, you know.
You were talking earlier about Tua and throwing that ball to DVP and stuff. Is some of that caused by Tua just being so damn short that the hands up in the way causes him to be late on some passes, you think?
Well, if I could point to maybe the same game, I want to say there was a pass to It could have been the Jaguars. There was a pass to Mac Hollins across the middle that ended up being way late, and you can see like
that was a really deep pass, and he said something about trying to throw back shoulder or something in the press conference.
Yeah, but
I think that's the one you're talking about.
Yeah, but I mean, if the throw would have been like, "Hey, that's what I want to do," you know, I need to get it to this spot in the field and rip it, then yeah, the ball could have very well been placed in the same spot it was, except Hollins would have been the one late to the ball, which is what you want, instead of the other way around.
Well, hindsight, the pass probably should have went to Waddle anyhow.
Well, it goes back, but again, it goes back to Hurries credited to the offensive line. Would that have been a credited Hurry if Tua would have let the ball rip right off the bat on that play? You know, I mean, these are maybe not, but these are valid questions. You know what I mean?
He was just late on it, and he tried to throw the back shoulder possibly. And
to me, it's like it's a simple matter of you're identifying the receiver and you're throwing to that receiver. In the NFL, that's late.
Do you think if that was going to DVP in that position, that since he is used to doing back shoulders, that maybe it would have made a difference?
Well, maybe Devontae might have come up with the throw, but it would have still been an inaccurate throw.
Yeah, I'm on.
And now, if your contention is that it was an accurate throw because he purposely put the ball in that vector, then it was a bad mistake to do that anyway.
Yeah.
So take your choice: either an inaccurate throw or a bad mistake.
Yeah, it just on that one touchdown to DVP, you know, it had to be quick. You know, I guess we'd have to look at it again, but
to me, it looked like
the passing lane away with him being
it just
short.
looked like the identification of Devontae right there looked like an afterthought to me by Tua, and he ripped the ball in, and it was late. And Devontae's athleticism was able to snag it. Now, if there's a, you know, championship level defensive back right there, one could argue that it could have been worse than it was. It could have went from touchdown, the greatest result, to the worst result. That's
right.
Not to look at hindsight or to play butterfly effect or anything like that. It's just to say that, you know, it was that far behind him that, you know, part of Devontae having a chance to make an athletic grab was the fact that the DB for the Jets was behind on it.
Yeah.
Which he wasn't behind on. I don't know if it's the same guy or not, but he wasn't behind on the other interception that came running towards me. Oh, by the way, that guy that when the Jets intercepted Tua and ran it back, the pick six, right?
Yeah.
Remember that DB was pointing up into the audience on his way into the end zone?
I remember you saying that the other night.
Yeah, he was pointing at me. It's not a great feeling, you know.
No, I'm sure it is for us because I mean it was you, so you know you get a little props for being the guy.
I mean, you know, it was probably just coincidence. It's not like he knew he was pointing at me, but I happened to be in the direction of his finger. You know what I mean?
But I can imagine what you were saying at the moment. So,
matter of fact, the camera that catches that view on the national broadcast was the camera that we were sitting right to the backside of, to his right a little bit.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, so am I missing anything here, CT man? Am I just being a hater?
No, I think that there are legitimate concerns. I mean, they're all across the board. We've talked about it ad nauseum. There's huge inconsistencies. There are things that, you know, and I've brought up, I would like to see with an improvement in timing, which is, again, I thought was telltale when Darrell Bevel came out and talked about, look, I'm not going to mess with Tua's throwing motion all that much. May I say, hey, you know, do this, little tweaks? Yeah. But they want to work on footwork. They want to work on timing. They want to work on, pre-snap and post-snap recognition. I've talked about it on other platforms and other situations where, people expect that with his limited opportunities and his limited experience in certain plays, he's got to learn an NFL window. And these things, whether it's having, timing down with his receivers and having timing and saying, all right, these guys are this close and I'm going to try to fit this ball in. Well, the only way he's going to learn it is by doing it, because you can do it in practice all you want. Doing it in a game is completely different. These guys, they're at a whole nother level during a game, and he's got to learn those things. And the only way he's going to do that, just the same way of reading pre-snap and post-snap reads, is the only way you do that is by doing it. And this is, again, a very important year for him.
So I understand we have some highlight footage of a nice deep ball video, and Snurdly 2.0 is telling me that this is a highlight video of a deep ball. I'm assuming it's Tua. Am I correct on that, Snurdly 2.0? Here we go. A little bit of
loading up, and it is
excellent adjustment to the ball by Mac Hollins. Gotta love it. Could have been out in front of them more. I know there's a Durham smite.
I didn't think it was that great of a pass, to be honest.
But see, even look at the way he's throwing, his mechanics. He's catapulting the ball. And that I don't want to see that. I want to see him rip that ball. That was a gorgeous throw.
Comes into the nickel.
And we got the Jags here.
Over there by Davis again, and they got Smythe with the.
Yeah,
that was
Smythe. Yeah, excellent.
Right there. Yeah, and when you're in your third year of the program, for the tight end,
there again.
Into the air.
That
Miami.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to say, though, is if anybody noticed is, and this is something I don't know if it's because of his relationship with Parker, and then him saying, okay, if it works with Parker, to work with other guys. A lot of those, he's absolutely great at that back shoulder sideline throw. But the question is are you going to be able to do that every single time, every game? And that's where
but it's still a walled garden, CT. But in the
NFL, you have to be able to make those throws, because there are going to be times where your X wide receiver is being covered by a great, like you said, a championship caliber guy. So he has that ability, but the problem is does he depend on that back shoulder throw too much? That's what I was getting at.
He throws a lot of slants to DVP too. I mean, during the year, to be honest.
Yeah, but the slant part I'm not concerned about, because a large majority of the time the slant is out in front, right where it needs to be. But my thing is that's where I brought up, McDaniel coming in and changing up the offenses. We're not going to be running those same, over and over. Oh, he's going. Parker's coming on a comeback route. We're going to have Waddle on a sprint out, or whatever they want to call it. I call it a sprint out, but it's just a sideline out, but with a little bit of a curve instead of a stop step, or doing the same route combinations over and over and over and over again, where it becomes predictable. That's where I had the issue with the Dolphins offense this year as well. And I hope that things change,
but that's the thing, CT. And even on a couple of those throws, save for the touchdown, obviously the touchdown capped off a drive, you know what I mean? But when you look at like these throws, you can plain as day see the dirt kick up for Mac Hollins because of the amazing adjustment he made to the ball. And again, this is why the videos that have been coming out are encouraging to me, because, what he's doing, I mean, it should allow him to stop catapulting the ball on every long throw. And that catapulting is what causes this. What else is he supposed to do but throw a back shoulder when by the time the ball gets there, there's three defenders converging on it?
Well,
I
I
agree
think
with
he
that,
needs
but
to
I think
trust his
that
arm and throw it earlier.
And
You know,
also,
not wait to throw
and
it.
also just when you can also throw, 53 yards, up in the air, or you can throw 45 yards strike across the middle. That's not going to be defended by anybody.
Yep.
Yeah, but I
That's
think
going to
that
give
if
the
you
receiver
notice,
a hole. It's going to give this receiver a lane to continue through for yards after catch. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
we'll
agreed.
tap off stuff.
I just think that if you guys notice, if you look at, if we go back and look at those back shoulder throws, almost every single one of those plays is the same route concept. It's the comeback route to Parker or whoever the wide receiver is on that side of the field, and that little sprint out. And the thing is you're not creating separation or space schematically. You're just stuck to, all right, we're going to run this same route combo on the left side or the weak side of the field. And then on the strong side of the field, we're going to have, Waddle running, a quick out or a wheel route.
Yep.
And then they're going to have a curl and then a fly route. It's the same shit over and over.
Right. And Thomas Jensen makes a good point. Doesn't seem to be stepping into his throws at times. Hopefully the coaches can correct. And this is what I'm talking about. I mean, if we're talking about a rib injury that maybe wasn't fully there, yet, yeah, I mean, you're going to see a breakdown in mechanics like that. The last video we watched from that Perform put out today with him, pulling that cord, that one right there, if you were to tell me that quarterback doesn't step into his throws and is going to get power into a throw, I would tell you that it's his fault for not doing it purposely.
Well, I haven't seen
like
it, so
like
I'm
what I saw
sure what
right
you
there.
referring to.
Like when you look at some of the throws that Chris just had put up, some of those throws you can even see. Well, yeah, the throw was nice, and it even the ball placement was nice, but the mechanics sometimes are still terrible. And the ones that aren't, I mean, yeah, that throw to Hollins was pretty decent as far as mechanics, but there's something causing him to not be able to grip the ball through his throw, which causes that catapulting. And it's just, you're not going to be able to overcome that, because what happens is when you're on the run and you have that kind of pain in your ribs and you throw on the run like that and you're catapulting the ball, first of all, it makes your hand look smaller than it really is. You know what I mean? And secondly, you're going to get throws like the one in Tennessee to Mac Hollins, the infamous one that everybody really picks on him for.
I think that a lot of it, and I've said it before.
Real quick, CT. I just want to also, I think Chris also had some other footage to show us, or was that wrapped up in the same clip? He says some bad football video. What's this bad football video we're going to be watching? You, buddy. See, watch. That looked like he was afraid of pain in his midsection. That kind of pain. Like, I don't even know what that was. And that one there was, again, catapulting the ball when it's wet and frozen. It's almost as if he's thinking about quick releasing. Like, no matter what, I've got to have a quick release.
This is all.
There's somebody in his ear. There's somebody in his ear, is what I've always thought, the way he throws.
Here we go. Different game. I don't know. That's
like, do it this way no matter what. And it's not the way he really feels good throwing a football. You know what I mean?
Play really, or his first start. No time there.
Miss blocking assignment, no communication.
Buffalo's defense.
That's
I know
a
what
bad
that
throw.
is. That is like,
Yeah.
you know,
He tried to
4 on
force that
2.
one.
Tighten is
No
again. with it.
time, miscommunication. Short arm that one.
But again, notice CT, it's like he's trying to force a quick release. See, this is the one I was talking about against Jacksonville. Like, he knows it too. He's
I
like,
don't know what the hell happened there.
I thought I was in dark jerseys today. I don't know.
Yeah, and if you notice, I see in a lot some of those plays, and we've talked about it before, Culler, and I, even told you privately. I think that a lot of some of those issues becomes where he has the right mechanics. The only thing is that he doesn't do, especially when the pressure's coming, is he doesn't follow through and allow that accuracy that he does have. Not consistently, but he has overall. He shies away from some of the hits. There are times where he sees the guy coming up, and like you said, he's trying to get rid of it so fast that it's not conducive to getting the ball there accurately.
Right. It seems like he's trying to force the quick release.
I think he gets caught in between throwing it away and throwing the pass.
When he doesn't realize that if he were, instead of resetting with a quick release, if you just threw how you felt comfortable throwing the first time when you feel the instinct to throw it, you're still going to be a half step faster, even without a Dan Marino release, with full control of where those balls go to. You know what I mean? Like even the ones that sailed overhead. You lose
the one sailing overhead.
You try to force the quick release, CT. When you try to force a quick release, that's what causes the lack of control. Like you can't grip the ball as much, because part of gripping the ball is because you're rearing back. Even if you rear back only halfway, or if you don't rear back as much as the next guy, the grip on the ball is what allows you to do that. When you're deciding for yourself to force a quick release, you can't do that. Otherwise, you have things like what happened in Tennessee when the ball gets a little wet and a little frozen. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I was more referring to, like you said, which I agree, that sometimes you just got to slow it down and make sure that you have a hold of the ball and you're doing what you're supposed to be. But I was more referring to, just like I had said before, with the follow through. There are so many throws there that he's rushed through and he squares his shoulders, and even sometimes the mechanics are perfect. The problem is the follow through is there, and if his arm angle and his front arm is too high or too low, that's when you get those overthrows and those short hops. Is because he's not following through on that throw. Like you said, he's trying to throw it and get it out there, but he's not taking the time to do a complete follow through to make sure that the accuracy and the touch is correct.
Right. And the only other way is to reset his feet and everything, his bottom torso, to gain that power back. And that's what causes the delay.
And well, it's not only necessarily the power.
It changes the trajectory to more of a straight line. What I'm saying is, like, it really, to me, on those throws you're talking about, the fact that he can't get the power, it could very well, the instinct to want to reset his lower torso could be because of pain in the midsection.
I mean, it could, but
what I'm saying is, even a healthy person that's not a gifted athlete feels that pain. That's why we all can't do it. Otherwise, we'd all be.
I'm just saying, for him, after that 4 to 6 week mark, I don't think that's really, or at least it shouldn't be an excuse.
Even for that type of throw, though, that could naturally hurt even without any injury.
Yeah, because he's also a quarterback and he's been doing this for 13, 14 years. So, but like I said, part of that is, again, you can do you can make the same throwing motion over and over. And I made this analogy. It's like riding a bike, and you break your leg or you break your arm or whatever, and you try to get up. You can ride that bike, but are you up standing on it? Standing and pumping those pedals, swinging the handlebars side to side. Are you at top?
That's what I'm saying. That's these videos I'm talking about are sort of encouraging, because it's showing me that there can't be any pain left. in that midsection. Like the video in particular with the footwork where he comes off of that, starts to charge forward and throws the ball on the run without resetting his lower body.
Well, I haven't seen him.
That's the kind of thing that I want to
see.
see. But I want to see that on, every play. Even if the play
I haven't
fails.
seen them, so
You know what I
I
mean?
can't comment on that. So.
I don't know. It just seems to me that those are the types of mechanics that allow a quarterback to come back, in the fourth quarter from a 14-point deficit against a team like Buffalo.
If Chris
you know
is there, he can cue that back up again.
I'm sorry,
because I haven't seen him. I don't know what you guys are. I mean, I've heard
Chris, pull up the one with the medicine ball.
Yeah.
If you could. We'll be wrapping up here in a minute. I'm just making sure nobody else wants to come in and give their 2 cents. Guys, while Chris is doing that, make sure you like and share the video. Subscribe to the Fins Tailgate. And use the description for Fanatics and the link in the description below if you need to get something for Fanatics from Fanatics.com. We all get stuff from there. So here you go, CT. Right there. Look, notice how he doesn't have to reset his lower torso, and the throw is pretty long. What I'm saying is on that throw, here it is again. Well, after the medicine ball. So right here. Watch what happens when he charges forward and throws. And look at the distance of the throw. Notice he still double pats, but he doesn't have to reset his whole bottom torso to make that throw. That's all hip rotation.
He's running up. What I'm
saying is he's using hip rotation along with his arm strength, but he's also cannot be feeling any pain in his ribs right there. That hurts a person that doesn't have a rib injury. You know what I mean? That's not an NFL quarterback.
Well, yeah, I could see that. The footwork is impressive. Obviously, the flexibility and the trunk rotation.
To me, the footwork is the footwork is the Mott and Bailey. You know what I mean? I'm looking at what makes a powerful NFL throw from an NFL quarterback. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think that especially the medicine ball as well. That's plyometric training. It's explosive training.
Well, that's what I noticed on the medicine ball toss through, because he kind of shot putted it. You know what I mean? Which, I mean, that's one of the great exercises to gain strength in your hip rotation, because you have no grip on the ball. You have to use nothing but core rotation for power in a shot put like that. You know what I mean? And you can even notice it in the video.
Part of it's explosion, but more of that, it's more explosive training. It's plyometric training versus pure strength. But it also, again, comes down to, and I'm sure Nick is doing it, is the form in which he's doing it, the biomechanically doing it in the most advantageous way. And that's really what it comes down to, is you can do all these things in practice. You can continue to rep what's biomechanically most advantageous. But when you're in a game and you're running full speed, you don't always do exactly what you should.
Well, that's true, and that's what I'm saying. And if there was any kind of lingering midsection pain, that's the kind of thing during the speed of the game that you'll abandon. Is things like use your mechanics and stuff like that. You know what I mean? The mechanics that I'm talking about are not like set and throw mechanics. Those have to be abandoned in a game, otherwise, because it's the nature of the NFL. You know what I mean? Look, nobody was I don't think anybody was singing the praises of Dan Marino's mechanics. You know what I mean? But the point I'm trying to make is that they're teaching these mechanics in a way. The mechanics I'm referring to are the mechanics that you have to use when those things break down, like when you're on a bootleg, when you're on a run, you know what I mean, and having to throw or decide to throw. Can I make that throw, or should I might as well tuck and run for 9 yards when that guy we just saw in that training video is the type of guy that would make that 30-yard throw.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
And I
saying?
like
So
it.
I'm just
Yeah.
pointing out reasons why I feel a little bit of an encouragement. Now, again, as I said earlier to open the show, hope is not equal to faith. And do I have any faith that all this is going to transfer to the field? This is where I'll say, Q, thanks. I appreciate it, man. You know, I try to be as objective as possible, but this is where I'll put my sundress back on and say, no, I don't have any faith that that's going to transfer to the field.
I think it does when there's enough repetition, but that's really what it comes down to.
That's it. Because when I remember from being on the field myself that things happen and you just, all you have to rely on is your instinct and your coaching. You know, you get in this mode where you just do what coach has told you to do. You know what I mean? And it ends up working. You know, you find yourself in the right positions. You know, you're making the right plays and the right moves, and the team is moving the ball. You know, so anyway, I will probably use this as a spot to shut it down if nobody's got anything else. I mean, if nobody else wants to come in. Green Rat, you want to? You got any final thoughts for tonight, man? Have I been as fair as possible? Like, in other words, when I said that two and ears might be a little surprised about what I have to say tonight, do you think I might?
You know, I have
changed
this
your
really
mind?
good closing, but you're ruining it by saying that. No, I think you had a great show tonight. I think you were very objective and stuff, and your guys' show with Doug was pretty awesome yesterday too.
Well, we appreciate that, and we appreciate everybody that listened, and then also went back and rewatched. Plenty of people, plenty of eyes have been able to get on it because everybody helping to share that and all that. So
I think we're, you know, with the coaching, bringing in all the people to help the offensive line, Tua, you know, hopefully getting a little healthier. After this year, if he fails, Tua is trash. This is a make or break, buddy.
you don't think we'll just keep building for another 7 years?
Well, we could. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. But I think everything's going to come down to we need to know, you know, if Ross is guilty, we need to try to trade for as many players as we can before we lose draft picks. So I think that's a big important part before we get into free agency is where that really stands. And if we go out and get free agents, I think Ross is thinking he's going to get off. If we start trading for a lot of people for, you know, picks and stuff, then I think Ross knows we could be in deep shit. So,
Alrighty.
But yeah, very good show tonight.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you coming by tonight too.
All right.
You have a good night. How about you, CT?
I love the show as always. Yeah, you're always fair, and we don't always agree, but I think that, you know, it comes down to, like Green Rat said, I think this third year, and I've said it repeatedly, this third year is going to be a big year for him. And it's, again, are we gonna see more of, you know, the occasional flash, or are we gonna get more consistency, which gives the fans more hope?
And that's and that's kind of what I'm a little concerned about. By the way, appreciate that, Q. Appreciate you coming by. You too, AB. Yeah, you know, as far as the consistency goes, I mean, we could look at those great plays all we want, but do you think that's, you know, that's something he can learn how to at least, you know, I mean, I know it doesn't happen every play, but with the mindset of trying to make that happen every play, like as if every play is the last one you're ever going to play in the NFL. You know what I mean? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. And I think that part of that also comes down to, like Green Rat said again, an improved offensive line, a better scheme, you know, things more catered toward what he does well. Obviously, you have to keep the defense honest, and you can't just completely abandon, you know, certain plays and, you know, downfield throws or, you know, outside the number, deep throws, whatever. You can't just eliminate that from the playbook completely, but you can try to pick and choose when's the right time versus the right opponent to put in those things. But I think that he can. I think that with more reps, he can get better. at those window throws, at the placement, at the touch. But I think a big part of that is, if we have an improved offensive line and he's still having these same issues, then we know it's not the offensive line, it's Tua.
Right. All right. Well, I appreciate that. And Anthony had said earlier that he thinks that he doesn't have any faith because he thinks Tua can't overcome the psychological issue with the hip injury. I mean, that's kind of what I was pointing out about these videos is, I mean, I look at a guy in those videos that doesn't have any problem with his hip, so it's at least encouraging. I don't know. Like I said, I don't have, I mean, again, I'm faithless on this, but the logo that we all love, that's what keeps the hope up. You know what I mean? So, that being said, I appreciate you coming by tonight, CT. And you're always welcome anytime, man. And guys, make sure you like, subscribe, share this video. And as Q points out, everybody say a prayer tonight. If you're a theist and you believe in any kind of deity, just say a prayer to that deity tonight for these people. It doesn't matter who you think is right or wrong in the matter. It's a geopolitical issue, but there are people that are just like you and me, that are dying, losing their homes tonight, because bombs can tend to be a little indiscriminate, regardless of who's involved. So we have to always remember that there's regular people like you and me that have nothing to do with these wars, that are taking bombs on their head right now. So prayers out to all of them. And that's on a serious note. And appreciate everybody being here. You can always find me on Tuesdays now, backing up Tonk 7, TMI Tuesdays at 9:00. You can hit Mike on the mic for open mic on Tuesdays. Everybody can join, and also drop the mic on Saturdays. And you can always find me now on until we get the Cash and Tickets crew going in order, because of the way things are. You'll find me starting at 10 these days on Thursday night. If you feel generous enough to support the channel, you can always use $, the Fins Tailgate with the Cash App, or the Fins Tailgate with Venmo. And also hit the link in the description for Fanatics if you need to get any apparel. They got NFL, MLB, NCAA, NASCAR, NHL, NBA, all of it. Tua jerseys, mugs, hats, whatever you need. So y'all have an excellent morning now, probably for some people, maybe evening for others. But appreciate y'all coming by tonight, putting up with my ugly mug and my terrible Tua takes. So have a good night, everybody. Thanks a lot.